A piece of concrete fell out of Dodger Stadium from the top of Dodger Stadium and hit a fan. Now, I'm only laughing because it didn't hit him in the head and the guy didn't croak. I'm only laughing because it's a piece of concrete that happened to hit a Yankee fan in Dodger Stadium for that Yankee-Dodger series. I'm not even laughing. Hold on. Let me tell you why I'm really laughing. Because it's not nice, but it's so true. Look at that piece of concrete. Can you imagine? It's the size of a big rock. If that hits you in the dome, you're done. Like, finished. There's nothing funny about that, except I'm not the president of the Dodgers. It's like my worst nightmare. When we were building the roof at Marlins Park, it was in my head because have you ever, this is a quick side note, Coca, but stay with me. If you ever look at home construction where you live or look at your apartment building that was constructed or wherever you happen to live and you happen to go like underneath the basement or you happen to go, let's just say where there's places you normally wouldn't look, you're going to see trash. You're going to see like empty sippy cups, beer bottles, various things from the construction site. It's totally normal, but it always gives me the bejeebies. When we were building Marlins Park and we were putting the roof together, I say we very generously, I was there watching the thousands of workers who were doing all of the work on time and on budget. And I would always do from Camp Interlochen, reunion coming up soon for all of my friends in Milwaukee, the big sweep. The big sweep is what I do around my house to this day, every day, more than once a day, to keep it immaculate. What you do with the big sweep on a construction site, and it's part of your budget, is to clean the garbage. But the other thing that I would do was to make sure that there were not like things that I was worried when the roof was up, like, God, don't leave anything on one of the roof beams because when the roof opens, what if it falls on someone? Hey, let's make sure that we've screwed in every screw because if a screw falls on a player in center field or on a fan, you got a problem. Let's look at the roof joints. Let's look at everything. It's like you're the inspector when it's your team and you're at home. You're looking around because you're frantic about exactly what happened in LA this weekend. It's a straight nightmare. And I don't mean because of the money, because you can bet your sweet Bippy the Dodgers have to write a check. That is a guarantee. A lot of you were laughing because you listened to Le Batard also, where I told you that when things happen to people at the ballpark, I evaluate, hey, is that worth a bat, a ball, an autograph, a picture? Is it worth a check? $1,000, $10,000, $50,000. How bad is it? Do I just replace your ice cream when you drop it? Or do you get domed by a piece of concrete? Hi, it's David Samson, president of the team. I want to say on behalf of all of us, we're very, very apologetic. If you would do me a favor and sign the following document, I would be more than happy to let you meet Shohei Ohtani. Oh, you're a Yankee fan. Give me a second. I will let you meet Aaron Judge. Hey, Hal, it's David. Hal, we got to get Judge out here. I mean, we're liable for 7 figures. This guy almost got clocked by a piece of concrete. You got to help me. Bring Judge out. Oh, just shake his hand, give him a jersey. I'll pay you back for the jersey. I'll thank Aaron Judge. I'll make a donation to his charity. But we got to have Aaron Judge meet this fan. He almost got hit in the head with a piece of concrete. Sir, I've got a whole plan ready for you. We take this stuff very seriously. We apologize on behalf of the greater Los Angeles metropolitan retro area. Do you know what that fan should have done, did do? No thanks. Don't think I'll be signing anything. Don't think I'll be meeting Aaron Judge today. Let me tell you what I will tell you. My back hurts. Uh-oh. It's the universal statement for show me the money. I mean, I really can't make fun of this, except to tell you that when you see a piece of concrete fall on a fan, you just know you got to write a check. They had a statement. The Dodgers had a great statement. I love this. This was Coca. Put a tear in my eye. The next day, which would have been yesterday or Saturday, I don't remember whether this happened Friday or Saturday because it was straight lover boy all weekend. Don't know. All of a sudden, the Dodgers came out. It was a Friday night game. Thank you, Coca. I don't hear you, but I did see you say that. All of a sudden, it comes out that the Dodgers have added netting. Have you ever been in New York City and you look up and you see netting where there's construction and you say, oh, that's good. If a person, place, or thing falls, I look up and the noun will get stuck in the netting. No problem. I always look at the size of the holes in the netting and say, if that's a penny, this is where my brain goes, that penny will fall through the netting. And then doink. And then I say to myself, what are the odds? And then you get a tattoo of the coyote. Because you realize the odds are damn shot better than you figured. So the Dodgers place netting below the area where the boulder already fell. It's my favorite. I am more than happy to take my shoes off and my underwear because there was an underwear bomber and a shoe bomber in an airport. I don't think it's too late. I think it's the perfect time. I am more than happy to show you my good and plenty in black and red jelly beans, even though I can't discern because I get that people hide things in candy. Fine. I'm in. The whole netting after the boulder fell? I'd like there to be inspections. When I go into an elevator and I look at the inspection certificate and I look at the date, which I do every time I'm in the elevator, I don't like when there's a sign that says inspection available at management office. You know me. Hi, it's David. When was the last elevator inspection? Because I don't want to have to test the theory that when an elevator falls to the bottom floor, if you jump right as it falls to the bottom floor, you won't get hurt. I don't want to test that theory. That ridiculous thing that's been in my head my entire life since I was 4 years old, which is not my entire life, but close enough. It's when I moved and started living in elevators. Well, taking elevators. I think about that all the time. Show me the certificate. I want to see what date. And my hope is that the person doing it wasn't baked, wasn't just signing off, wasn't getting a little payola, that they really looked at the elevator and said, these cables look good. I'd like to believe there are building inspectors, because I know there are. We had to pay for a bunch of them to expedite them. It can be a racket, all right. But I'd like to believe they're looking for concrete. But a boulder falls, netting's put up, and the Dodgers have a statement. Ready? I'm going to deliver this, Coco, with a straight face, I promise you. We have had professionals and experts at Dodger Stadium this morning to examine the facility and ensure its safety. We will also be undertaking a longer-term review. Okay. Here's the thing. When you're hosting a game the next night, for the 50,000 people going to the game, the promise of a longer-term review doesn't quite give me the feel-goods. The longer-term review is usually what you do when a place is condemned. What do you think it's going to be, Coca? 7 figures? I don't think he got hurt, so I don't think he gets 7 figures. He did get to keep the boulder. You do get that. I think he's going to get some autograph stuff, and I think it's going to be a low 6-figure settlement. I'm thinking like $200,000. $250,000, write the check, have him sign off, give him a few things he can sell online, a few Ohtani jerseys, maybe a Judge something, but it's going to get 6 figures.
So the MLB trade deadline isn't for a couple more months, Jacqueline, but it is time to start thinking deals as teams decide to be buyers or sellers ahead of July 31st. Important to note, entering the week, almost 2/3 of the league entered their games within 3 games of a playoff spot. So that's why we're bringing the conversation up now with Julian McWilliams, our national baseball reporter, with some of his buyers and sellers here. So again, always in that think tank, thinking about teams, and you know them well. So we're going to start with a couple of buyers, a couple of first-place teams, and we start with the one in L.A. What are the Dodgers thinking about right now in the moment, you think?
Pitching. Look, they need pitching. I know Ohtani threw his first bullpen the other day, or excuse me, live BP, but that's not enough, right? You don't know if he's going to come back as a starter. They have 14 guys on the IL that are pitchers. 6 of them are starters. So they're going to have to go out there and get pitching. I saw them play the recent weekend against the Mets, and they looked good offensively, but you question the pitching. And I think somebody like Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins could help, remedy a lot of their issues.
Yeah, it's interesting how much they had to navigate that last year already, thinking that they had the better plan this year. But to your point, a chance for them midseason to bolster that bullpen and that starting rotation as well. All right, what about the Yankees? New York also sitting in first place in its division, but what about the Pinstripes?
Look, I think that they have one of the best dominant staffs in baseball. If there's anything that the Yankees do, they pitch, right? They've done that, for the last 10 to 12 years. They're going to pitch. I think that's why they stay in the hunt so fast. So much. But with losing Juan Soto, that's a big bat, and Aaron Judge has to carry a lot of the load. So I would say they need another bat in the lineup, particularly in the middle of the order, because I think that would help them take some of the pressure off Judge, and have a situation like they had Soto last year, and he got them to the World Series. Obviously, Judge didn't have the World Series that he wanted, but if you pair somebody with, and he's not going to be Juan Soto, but if you pair him with somebody that's going to at least be a little bit effective with the power numbers, I think that'll suit the Yankees well.
We have conversation of Judge flirt with 400 in this type of season. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep it up. Guys in the back, can we bring up those division records and odds once again for the AL East when we're talking about the Yankees, because I want to focus on the team that's down below, sitting tied for third, which is the Red Sox at 27-31. So, Julian, what does Boston have to do, or what do you think they're going to do? Are they going to buy or sell, you think?
I think it's ultimately going to be a sell. Look, I covered this team for 6 years, and I think it's a club that right now, this early into the season, this is the worst I've ever seen them. They have a lot of guys playing out of position. I know they rely on Christian Campbell and Marcelo Meyer, but you can't rely on those young guys to get you through a season. Now, Alex Bregman being out for a long while, that's going to cost them a bit. So I think they have a couple of names that they can come up with as sellers. Jarren Duran is one guy I think about. He was an all-star last year. The Red Sox thought about trading him, in fact, at the trade deadline last year, because they felt like at some point he reached his peak. He's not going to have that season he had again. Ceddanne Rafaela, that's another guy. Some people say he's the best center fielder in all of baseball. He struggles a bit with the bat, but when it comes to the glove, he can do that. And then we got Aroldis Chapman. Aroldis Chapman is having one of his best seasons. He's throwing 103 miles per hour. I don't know how that's going to serve the Red Sox, because they can't seem to get through a game without being behind. So it's better that they try to get something else for him. Potentially another bat, hopefully another bullpen arm. We'll see, but I think the Red Sox right now are just a mess.
Okay. Don't tell that to our guy, Will Middlebrooks, by the way, who has to cover that team, of course, for us here at CBS Sports. And then let's get to the Rangers, because there were a lot of people entering the season trying to buy relatively low on this team that said, hey, they're going to get back on track. Things are going to go well again. It hasn't really happened out that way, right, Julian? What has gone wrong there in Texas, and what do you think they're going to be doing near the deadline?
Look, they're trying to do anything possible to get Marcus Semien going, and it just hasn't happened. I don't know if his age, I don't know what it is. Marcus is the guy that posts, and we've even moved him down to the 9 hole, and I think that's probably the first time in years that he's hitting that position. I think they got to get more production from their guys, and I just don't see it happening. This team's turned a little bit stale, even going into last year. They were a team that people expected. They're just 2 years off from winning World Series, and now they just don't seem that they can get it going. So Marcus Semien, look, that's a guy that perhaps he needs a new place he can go. I know he has 2 years left on his contract, or 3, but the Rangers will have to take on a huge load of that, and maybe perhaps Nathan Eovaldi. He's a playoff pitcher. He knows how to get outs. He knows how to get the job done. So the Rangers have been a total disappointment this year, and I just can't see them going anywhere in that division.
All right, Julian Williams giving us the lowdown on what we could potentially see the trade deadline in Major League Baseball. Never too early to start thinking about that. And as we check the latest odds to win the World Series, the Dodgers continue to be a heavy betting favorite at plus 240. We mentioned the Yankees. They're right behind at plus 550. I don't see my Giants anywhere